It is an icy wasteland. A carriage brings an orc-like creature to a prison. He meets his cellmates, the bard Edgin Darvis and the barbarian Holga Kilgore. The orc attempts to make a pass at Holga, who responds by breaking his knees and smashing his face. The following day, Edgin and Holga are brought before the Absolution Council to state their case for an appeal for their pardon. Edgin begins by telling his backstory to the council to give context for why he and Holga are there. Years ago, he was a member of the Harpers faction, a group of spies that fought against evil. Edgin was married to Zia and had a daughter, Kira. Tragedy struck when a group of red wizards attacked Edgin's home and killed Zia, leaving him a widowed father and turning his back on the Harpers. As he struggled to provide for himself and Kira, he met Holga, who was banished from her tribe for falling in love with an outsider. Despite trying to live honestly, Edgin and Holga resorted to thievery, and Holga became like a surrogate parent to Kira. Edgin and Holga later teamed up with rookie sorcerer Simon Aumar and the rogue forge Fitzwilliam to steal from others. Things changed when they met a wizard named Sofina. She requested their help to rob Corin's keep, a Harper stronghold filled with riches. While Edgin refused at first, Forge convinced him when he told Edgin that the keep contains the tablet of Reawakening, which he realized he can use to bring Zia back to life. The plan went sour when Sofina's true intentions were revealed, and she used a time-freezing spell to trap Edgin and Holga. Edgin gave Forge the tablet and asks him to look after Kira, while Simon also managed to get away. Edgin finishes the story as he waits for a council member named Jonathan to show up. Once he does, Edgin and Holga use Jonathan to break through the window and fly out, even though the council approved their pardon. Now free, the two thieves resolve to relocate Forge so that Edgin may reclaim the tablet and get Kira back. They go to a pub and find a flyer that reveals that Forge is now Lord of Neverwinter. The duo travel to Neverwinter, which is preparing for the annual High Sun Games. They reunite with Kira, who is more excited to see Holga, who calls Kira Bug, than her own father, as she thinks Edgin abandoned her for selfish reasons. They all meet with Forge, who used the riches stolen from Corin's keep to make himself the Lord of Neverwinter. Forge also reveals that he has Sofina working with him as his advisor. Edgin then learns that Forge has been telling Kira that he was arrested for stealing riches, and not because of the Tablet of Reawakening. When he and Holga attempt to get Forge, Sofina uses her magic to trap them. He has the two captured by his guards and set to be imprisoned, but Sofina tells the guards to execute them. Holga fights off the guards to allow herself and Edgin to escape once again. They decide that they need to plan a heist to get Kira out of Forge's castle, but they need a team. With the High Sun Games coming up, other lords from other kingdoms will bring their riches together to Forge's vault, where the tablet is, and they can use the riches to pay their team. Edgin and Holga go looking for Simon, who is performing magic tricks for entertainment. He uses the tricks as a diversion while casting a spell to steal the audience's gold and trinkets. The people go after him, so Simon uses the spells he knows to try and escape, nearly getting himself killed until he runs into Edgin and Holga. He is on board with taking down Forge, but he reminds the two that the place will be heavily guarded. Simon then tells them of someone he knows who can help. The three go to find Doric, a young druid that Simon had tried to court, but Doric found him unappealing. They watch as a young woman is set to be executed by having her limbs pulled off by a horse, only the horse turns out to be Doric in disguise. She transforms into her owlbear form and knocks the villains around before freeing the woman. Afterwards, the trio approaches Doric, who does not trust humans because her own family abandoned her for being a tiefling. She gives her own reasoning for wanting to take down Forge, since he had her people imprisoned or killed for questioning his rule, so she wants to fight for the other druids. In her quarters, Sofina speaks to her master, the Lich Zastam. He entrusts her with their ultimate plan, which Sofina hopes to use Forge in succeeding with their ultimate goal. Afterward, Sofina joins Forge as he meets with other lords to discuss plans for the High Sun Games, but Sofina detects the presence of Doric, who has shapeshifted into a fly to spy on Forge's meeting. Forge's guards go after her, but she manages to change shape to whatever works for her so she can escape and return to the rest of the team. Doric reports to them that Forge's vault is protected by the arcane seal. The team arrives at a graveyard full of bodies that fought in the Evermoors long ago. With Simon's magic, the bodies are only able to stay alive for up to 5 questions asked to them. They have to go through multiple corpses to find out where the helmet of disjunction went, since many of the warriors died passing it on to one another. The last corpse they speak to tells them that the helmet was passed on to a Thyan, where the red wizards come from, named Zenk Yenda, who promised to keep it safe. Edgin doesn't trust Thyans since they killed Zia, but Simon and Doric have heard of Zenk's stories as a paladin, and even Holga is able to back up the stories of his heroics. The team shows up to witness some of Zenk's heroics when he rescues a tiger child from a sea creature that swallowed it. They meet with him after to ask him to help take down Forge. He brings them together to explain the history of the Red Wizards. Zastam planned to raise an undead army by enslaving the people of the land. Zenk ponders as to what Forge would gain if he is working with the Red Wizards. Zenk only agrees to join the team when Edgin agrees to distribute Forge's wealth among the people of Neverwinter. On their way to the helmet, Zenk talks about how he witnessed the unholy power of Zastam and how it corrupted good people to be slaves to evil, which is why he moved away from the way of the Red Wizards and used his skills for good. Once the group reaches the helmet, they are confronted by Thyans. Zenk fights them, but since they are undead, they don't stay down. As they run, they are found by the very fat dragon Thembashord, who chases them after devouring the Thyans. After making it to the shore, Zenk bids the others farewell as he returns home. Simon attempts to take control of the helmet. The team uses a portrait to open one portal as a carriage of Forge's treasures makes its way into Neverwinter for the start of the High Sun Games. Once inside, Holga fights more guards while Simon tries once more to attune with the helmet. Elminster confronts him again and attempts to reject him once more, but Simon punches him, and this allows him to attune with the helmet. They find nothing in the vault, resulting to them being captured. The event starts, with the team competing alongside others as they are put through a treacherous maze filled with creatures and traps. While the other players are not very lucky, Doric comes up with a plan to allow her and her friends to teleport out of there. The duo make it to the dock where they find the riches, but Forge has come with Kira holding a knife to her throat. Holga throws a potato at Forge, letting Kira go. They retrieve the riches. As they are about to leave, they see a dark smoke in the air. It is the witch, Sofina. They try battling her, but she is stronger than them. But they manage to defeat her by tricking her into wearing a magic-suppressing cuff that allows them to defeat her when Doric turns into an owlbear to thrash the Red Wizard around before throwing her into a wall that crumbles and crushes her. Later on, Lord Neverember reawakens since Sofina is gone. Forge is imprisoned and tries to make an appeal for his pardon by telling his own tragic backstory. He tries to escape by using Jonathan but hits onto a wall. Midway through the credits, the last corpse that the team left alive asks for anyone to ask him questions so he can go back to being dead. In the end, Lord of Neverwinter wakes up now that Sofina is gone. The heroes are rewarded.